to be with all of you here. 13 months ago, I launched this campaign for governor. We've crisscrossed the United States, showing up in your hunt clubs and on your street corners, listening to the good people of Pennsylvania and learning from them, hearing them talk to me about their hopes and their fears, their worries and their challenges, showing me pictures of their kids and telling me stories about where they want to go in this world. I return to you today, 13 months later, hopefully a better candidate than when I started, and certainly a man who has been humbled by this process. You know, my wife Lori and I, and she's here tonight, she is going to be a great First Lady of Pennsylvania. My wife Lori and I have dedicated ourselves to public service for two fundamental reasons. The first is because of our family. We are blessed with 4 amazing children. Their names are Sophia, Jonah, Max, and Reuben, and I look in their eyes every day and I worry. I worry about their planet. I worry about their safety. I worry, and moms and dads, you'll understand this, I worry that we brought our children into this world at a time where maybe, just maybe, they have fewer opportunities than the world I was blessed to be born into 49 years ago. And I worry about your kids and your grandkids as well. That's one reason I do what I do. The second reason I do what I do is because of my faith. Now listen, I'm not here to preach at you or tell you what to believe or to believe at all, but I want you to know what I believe. You see, my scripture teaches me that no one is required to complete the task, but neither are we free to refrain from it. That means that each of us has a responsibility to get off the sidelines, to get in the game, and to do our part. So Pennsylvania, I come to you 13 months after we started to tell you I am prepared to do my part as the next governor of this great Commonwealth. You see, as I've crisscrossed this Commonwealth, I see a time where we have great opportunity, but also where we have a whole lot of work to do to defend our fundamental freedoms and protect our democracy. And when I think about the great opportunities that we have, the first place I think of is in our public school classrooms. And when I'm your governor, we will fully fund public education. But it's not just about writing a check to our schools. It's about making sure our schools are opportunity zones for all God's children, where our kids have a chance to really learn. So when I'm governor, we will finally do away with our reliance on standardized testing. That's right. It is not a measurement of how well a kid learns or how well a teacher teaches. And in its place, how about we bring VOTEC back to our high school classroom? We got to give our kids an opportunity to succeed. We have to make sure in every classroom we've got a terrific and well-paid teacher, and our kids deserve to have all the books and computers they need, but you know what else they deserve? They deserve to know when they are feeling worried, when they are feeling anxious, that they can walk down the hallway and find a mental health counselor in every school building across our Commonwealth. Good schools for our children, but We also have to make sure that every one of those kids, when they walk to and from school, have a safe community to live in. Hear me on this. We'll hire more police, but we'll make sure the police are from the community that they're sworn to serve and protect. We'll make sure they look like the community that they represent. They'll be properly trained. Because understand, this is where I come down on it, people have a right to be safe and feel safe in their communities. Good schools and safe communities and an economy that's going to lift everybody up. We got to raise wages across this Commonwealth, and it starts by raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. By making sure that that young person that finally learned VOTEC in their high school classroom can make their way into a state-funded union apprenticeship program. And we need to make sure we give everyone an opportunity to succeed. Open up the doors of opportunity to those who have been shut out. And so on day one of our Shapiro-Davis administration, I will sign an executive order doing away with the college degree requirement for thousands of state government jobs, opening up the doors of opportunity for those who didn't have it before. We'll plant some flags again in this Commonwealth and show that we can take the fight to every other state. We'll create tens of thousands of green energy jobs right here in Pennsylvania and lead the nation. We'll lead the nation again when it comes to biotech and robotics. We will show the rest of the world that Pennsylvania is open for business. Good schools and safe communities, an economy that lifts everybody up. But the way we do this is we need a governor who knows how to take on big fights. I know a little something about taking on big fights. Just ask those student loan companies we took to court and won and canceled $200 million in student debt for Pennsylvania students and their families. You know, as Attorney General, we've arrested over 8,200 drug dealers in this Commonwealth. But I understand this crisis didn't start on our street corners. This crisis started as a result of the greedy executives in pharmaceutical company boardrooms. So we took them on too, and we won. And we took $1 billion of their ill-gotten gains and brought it back to Pennsylvania for treatment, because we understand drug addiction is a disease, not a crime. When one of the largest contractors in Pennsylvania thought it was a good idea to rip off Pennsylvania workers like Harry and Agnes who were doing backbreaking work on Pennsylvania's roadways, I found out about it. We filed criminal charges, brought the largest wage theft case in the history of the United States of America. Because here's the thing. You mess with a Pennsylvania worker, you got to go through me. We won and put all $21 million back in the pockets of our workers the week before Christmas last. But I want you to know I'm not done taking on big fights. I got another big fight in me. It comes in 3 days when we defeat Doug Mastriano in this governor's race. That's right. And here's the thing. We must defeat Doug Mastriano in this governor's race. You know, he has said his number one priority isn't cutting your costs. isn't making our communities safer, isn't helping our school kids. No, he has said his number one priority is to ban all abortion with no, hang on, I'm not done. He wants to ban all abortion with no exception, not for rape or incest or even to save the life of the woman. And he has said he wants to charge women with murder for having this life-saving medical procedure. Now here's the thing. This legislature is going to put that bill on the desk of the next governor. He'll sign it into law. I will veto that bill and trust the women of Pennsylvania to make decisions over their own bodies. This is a guy who doesn't respect women here in Pennsylvania. In fact, if you don't think like Doug Mastriano, if you don't look like him, if you don't vote like him, if you don't worship like him, if you don't marry like him, you don't count in his Pennsylvania. You know how I know that? Because I know where he was on January the 6th. He went there that day, understand, he went there that day not to hear a speech or protest. He went there that day to stop your vote from being counted because he doesn't respect you. And he's already told us what he plans to do the next time in 2024. He has said he's going to use his power as governor to, his words, not mine, review the voting logs, make corrections, and then he plans to decertify certain voting machines in this Commonwealth so he gets to pick the winner. Let me ask you a question. What voting machines do you think this guy's going to decertify? Probably the ones here in Philadelphia, right? Are we going to let him get away with that? Listen, that is not how our democracy works. That's not how we do things in this Commonwealth or in this country. And that is not freedom. You know, this guy loves to talk a good game about freedom, right? Let me tell you something. It's not freedom to tell women what they're allowed to do with their bodies. That's not freedom. It's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read. It's not freedom when he gets to decide who you're allowed to marry. I say love is love. It's not freedom to say you can work a 40-hour work week, but you can't be a member of the union. That's not freedom. And it sure as hell isn't freedom to say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. But you know what? You know what we're for? We're for real freedom. And let me tell you what real freedom is. Real freedom is when you see that young child in North Philly and you see the potential in her, so you invest in her public school. That's real freedom. That's real freedom. Real freedom comes when we invest in that young child's neighborhood to make sure it's safe so she gets to her 18th birthday. That's real freedom. Real freedom comes when we put Votech in her school and opened up her eyes to the possibility of being a welder. We sent her to a union apprenticeship program, and we believed in her, so she started a small business right here in North Philadelphia. That's real freedom. Real freedom comes when she hires a whole bunch of people that were never going to have a shot before. They went on to marry the people they love, worship where they want, live in a community that is safe, live in a place that respects them. That is real freedom, and that is what's on the ballot right now. real freedom. Real freedom is on the ballot in 3 days. Folks, let me tell you something. My name may be on the ballot. Austin Davis's name may be on the ballot. But it's your rights. It's your future that's on the line. And right now, we need to do the work to claim our future together. This is a moment in our politics where I know it's easy to get a little down. It's easy to wonder whether or not we can solve big problems anymore. Whether because of how frayed and divided our politics are, whether we can meet this moment and address these big challenges. I stand before you today a man who is more optimistic than when I began this process. More optimistic because I've had the opportunity to get to know all of you. Because I've seen how hopeful you are. And because I know as a nation, we've been here before. 246 years ago, our democracy was born right here in Philadelphia. 246 years ago, it was born, but over these last 2.5 centuries, what we've done as Americans is we've done the hard work to perfect our union. We've done the hard work to move the ball forward. And so I stand before you today hopeful because I've seen this play out before, where folks, not with titles next to their names, but ordinary Pennsylvanians, ordinary Americans rose up and spoke up and demanded more and sought justice and looked our children in the eyes and said, we are going to leave this place better for you than the way we found it. That's why I'm so optimistic today. We have been here before and we have met this test. And so in 3 days, we face another test, another opportunity. I ask you today to believe not in me, but believe in yourselves. Each of you has a vote, but each of you has a voice, a powerful voice. And this is a moment where we've got to sing in unison. We've got to believe together. We've got to rise up. We've got to make our ancestors proud. And we've got to do the hard work necessary to move our Commonwealth forward. And so all I ask of you is if you can use your voices, if you can lend your voices over these next 3 days here in Philadelphia and all across Pennsylvania, if you can do the hard work necessary to win this race, then I promise you, I will bust my ass for you for the next 4 years as your governor. Thank you all very much. God bless you all. Let's get this done. Thank you.